In recent years, a big topic of conversation in the Pokemon community is whether or not shiny hunting is way too easy in recent games. If you're being honest with yourself, it definitely is. A lot of people say that the big change to shiny availability was in Pokemon X and Pokemon Y, when the shiny odds were cut in half and method hunts became a lot more abundant. Some argue that Gen 5 was the start of shinies becoming too easily available with the addition of the shiny charm in Black and White 2, which cut the shiny odds in half. But I believe the real turning point was in Generation 4, with the method hunt of the Pokeradar. Before we go any further, I just want to say Happy Pokemon Day! It's been 30 years since the release of Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green in Japan. What was your first Pokemon game? While the Pokeradar was originally introduced in Gen 4, it has seen a couple of returns to the series since, each time with slightly different mechanics and the way it's used. However, in Gen 4, it is undoubtedly the easiest to get the hang of and the easiest to hunt with. I plan on shiny hunting a lot in Pokemon Platinum through the Pokeradar, but for today, we will be learning how to use the Pokeradar to shiny hunt Ralts, which can evolve into Glade to use as a false swiper. This hunt began on January 25th after I quickly shiny hunted Giratina after 9,915 resets, and I beat the Elite Four and Cynthia soon after. A couple days after grinding money and finishing up my national decks, I finally got the Pokeradar and I started figuring out how it works. I followed a couple of guides online as well as this video by Johnstone where he used the radar for 100 hours. In case you don't know, the basic goal is to get a chain of 40 while only encountering one species of Pokemon the entire time. By only going into patches that are 4 steps in any direction, you'll have the best chance of continuing your chain. Once you have gotten a chain of 40, your shiny odds have been maxed out and you can continue resetting the Pokeradar by running 50 steps till you get that shiny patch. I initially bought a bunch of Super Repels since those are the most cost efficient in this generation. However, they didn't introduce the feature of the game prompting you to use another repel until the previous one was used, up until Black and White 2. I switched to max repels for the sake of my sanity. I started shiny hunting Ralts, but I stopped my first attempt early since I didn't have the Pokeradar counting app and had to go to the Pal Park on Route 221. The next day, I picked it back up. I continued on to chain to around 30 before my chain broke to a yucky Bibarel. On the same day, I finally got to a chain of 40 and actually did get a shiny. Ooh. I think that was it. Right? Yes! Shiny Ralts, and it's a male too. Okay. However, I forgot to save my game and ended up losing the shiny due to the game freezing. Day after I came back to the hunt, despite my disappointment of failing the chain, I continued on, and luckily on my first attempt, I successfully got to a chain of 40 and the shinies came pouring in. Unfortunately, when I was going for my 4th shiny Ralts, my chain broke to me running into a patch above me that I didn't see. So, for the time being, this evolution line is going to be a little incomplete until I eventually return to this hunt. If you want to see me prove that Gen 4 was the start of shiny Pokemon being quote-unquote ruined, then please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot. And if you're watching this before the Pokemon Presents airs, what are your expectations for Pokemon Day? And if you were watching this after, what did you think? Either way, let me know in the comments.